What if I told you that scattered across the wide open plains, hidden in tangled forests, and tucked among the rolling hills of Texas, there are entire towns silently frozen in time, places where echoes of the Wild West, gold rushes and oil booms whisper through crumbling buildings and forgotten streets? Today, we're heading way off the beaten path to uncover the gripping stories behind Texas' most famous ghost towns, each with secrets begging to be told. Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to the Lone Star Plate, the channel where we serve up everything Texan, flavor, history, and the legends that make this land as big as our imaginations. Now, if you've ever wondered what happened to those boom towns where fortunes were made and lost, where legends like outlaws, oil tycoons, and pioneers once walked, you're in for a treat. Stick around, because today we're walking through the dust and shadows of 5 ghost towns that capture the untamed spirit of Texas and reveal just how wild, unpredictable, and unforgettable our history really is. All right, saddle up and let's ride. First stop, Terlingua. If you picture Texas ghost towns as sun-bleached, silent streets with tumbleweeds blowing by, Terlingua will blow your boots off. Located down near Big Bend, this scorched stretch was born in the late 1800s from the spark of a single mineral, quicksilver or mercury. Hundreds of tough men flocked here to risk their necks in the hot, dangerous mines, chasing paydays big enough to change their lives. The town boomed, with hundreds of families, 2 schools, dance halls, and even its own newspaper. But when the mercury market tanked during the Great Depression, Terlingua dried up fast. Most folks left, leaving adobe ruins baking in the sun, and those that stayed swapped mining for moonshine and mystery. Today, Terlingua is a quirky mix of artists, drifters, and chili heads, famous for its annual chili cook-off and, some claim, haunted hotels where the miners' spirits might be more than local legend. Next, let's head to the Central Texas ghost town of Thurber. Blink, and you'll miss it on I-20 between Fort Worth and Abilene. But back in its heyday, Thurber wasn't just a town. It was the largest coal mining camp in Texas and one of the state's first true company towns. By 1920, nearly 10,000 people, immigrants from Poland, Italy, Ireland, called it home. The company owned everything: houses, the general store, even the church. But progress comes quick in Texas. Oil and natural gas replaced coal, and by 1933, Thurber's fate was sealed. The last building, aside from a single smokestack, which still stands tall, was torn down. But if you cruise by the old site today, some say you can still hear the rumble of mined carts and the distant clang of shovels on rock. It's a reminder that all booms eventually go bust, and that Texas history is full of second chances and sudden endings. Now, buckle up as we detour to Indianola on Matagorda Bay, a town whose story is as epic as any frontier legend. Established in 1846, Indianola rose quickly to become Texas' biggest port after Galveston. Waves of immigrants landed here, bringing dreams and just about everything else into Texas. But Mother Nature had other plans. 2 back-to-back hurricanes in 1875 and then in 1886 absolutely devastated the city. The final storm left little more than battered foundations and shattered dreams, and the survivors scattered inland. But Indianola's ghost lingers in Texas. Galveston's rise, and later its own tragic hurricane in 1900, can be traced straight back to this once bustling port. Today, only a few stones in the cemetery remain, a reminder that the sea gives and the sea takes, even in Texas. Now, let's steer west to Shackelford County, where Fort Griffin sits atop a lonely bluff. This wasn't a settlement so much as a hive of rowdy energy, a frontier outpost that birthed a notorious Babylon on the Brazos. Outlaws, gamblers, buffalo hunters, and soldiers made this place rowdier than a Saturday night in Dallas. Famous names like Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp cut their teeth here before heading off to Tombstone. As the Indian Wars ended and the rails stretched west, Fort Griffin's wild days faded. Today, its weathered ruins and legendary cattle drives echo in the Texas night, perfect proof that our past is never far gone, even when it's just a few lonesome chimneys against a wide open sky. Finally, let's drift north to the tiny ghost town of Glen Rio. Straddling the Texas-New Mexico border along old Route 66, Glen Rio is a picture-perfect snapshot of the American road trip, and a testament to what happens when the world changes direction. Once a thriving stop for travelers, with motels, diners, and flashy neon signs, Glen Rio dried up almost overnight after I-40 opened, bypassing the town completely. Now, it stands silent. Rusted pumps frozen at the pumps, the old welcome signs fading in the desert sun. But for those who stop, you can almost hear the whispers of travelers past, all chasing their own Texas dream. So, what is it that keeps drawing us back to these ghost towns, long after their last residents packed up and moved on? Maybe it's the chance to walk where legends walked, to touch history's untamed edge, or to feel that rush of possibility that once filled every dusty street and saloon. These towns, Terlingua, Thurber, Indianola, Fort Griffin, Glen Rio, aren't just ruins. They're living chapters in the wild story of Texas, built on hope, hard work, heartbreak, and the stubborn belief that anything is possible out here. But now, I want to know, if you could visit just one Texas ghost town, which would it be, and why? Or maybe you've got your own spooky story or family tale from a Texas town you'd like to share. Hit that like button if you learned something new today, and drop your answer in the comments below. Let's swap some Texas-sized stories. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to The Lone Star Plate, where every week we explore the myths, flavors, and legends that make Texas one of a kind. That's all for today, folks. Until next time, keep your spirit wild, your stories true, and remember, the heart of Texas beats just as strong in the ghost towns as it does in any big city. Y'all take care now.